Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into something pretty massive that's happening entirely behind the scenes of India's pharmaceutical industry. We're talking about a complete overhaul. The way medicines are approved is literally shifting from a sluggish, paper-heavy bureaucratic system to a totally interoperable, real-time digital ecosystem. By the end of this explainer, you're going to understand the exact digital mechanics that are set to change how fast you and millions of others can access life-saving medicines.
Right, so here is the ultimate high-stakes question. How do you get life-saving drugs to market faster without compromising safety? It's a classic regulatory dilemma. On one hand, you've got patients desperately waiting for critical medical breakthroughs, but on the other hand, you've got regulators who absolutely must ensure that every single pill, injection, or therapy is 100% safe. For decades, the default answer was just, well, we have to accept these really long, drawn-out approval timelines. But what if technology could actually fix this? What if we didn't have to choose between speed and uncompromising safety? Okay, let's dive into this. To really understand how this shift is happening, we're looking at some recent insights shared by Dr. Anam Basala, who is the Joint Drugs Controller for India. She recently spoke at the ET Pharmatech Innovate Conclave, and the core strategy she laid out, this massive technological upgrade, essentially boils down to a dual approach: digitalization and deregulation. The whole idea is to completely reshape the drug approval process. It gives pharmaceutical companies a way more predictable, streamlined pathway to bring medicines to market, while, and this is absolutely key, actually strengthening quality surveillance at the exact same time.
Section 1. The Drug Approval Challenge and Digitizing the Fast Lane.
To really see how regulators are essentially building an express lane for approvals, let's look at cell and gene therapies, or CGTs. Now, these aren't your standard over-the-counter pills. They are incredibly advanced treatments, things like autologous CAR-T therapies. Basically, this involves extracting a patient's own immune cells, genetically rewiring them in a lab so they can hunt down cancer, and then infusing them right back into the patient. Because the manufacturing for this is so uniquely complex and highly individualized, bringing their clinical trial assessments and their eventual marketing authorizations into a streamlined digital system, well, it's an absolute game changer.
And the sheer scale of this right now is pretty incredible. 80. There are currently about 80 cell and gene therapy applications under review in India alone. That boldly illustrates the immediate momentum of this fast-track digital pipeline. The regulator actually noted that there's a rapidly growing pipeline of these autologous CAR-T therapies, with quite a few expected to progress all the way to the marketing authorization stage very soon. And that means actual cutting-edge therapies reaching the market and helping patients faster than ever before. But here's the thing. This transformation isn't just about scanning forms into a computer. It's also about smart deregulation. Consider bioavailability and bioequivalence studies, usually referred to as BA/BE studies in the industry. These are crucial tests used to prove that a generic drug works exactly the same way as the brand name version. Well, previously, companies were stuck in this major bottleneck, waiting around for formal regulatory approval just to even begin these studies. Now, the regulator has basically swapped out that massive hurdle for a simple notification-based mechanism. Companies just notify the regulator and immediately proceed. It literally cuts months out of the development timeline. That is practical, smart deregulation in action.
Section 2. Smarter, risk-based safety.
Now, whenever we hear terms like deregulation, the immediate, understandable concern is safety. But speeding up approvals doesn't mean we're just skipping checks. Far from it. It actually means shifting toward data-driven regulatory oversight. Think about the sheer volume. Terabytes of data generated by pharma companies during testing, validation, and commercial-scale manufacturing. Instead of just filing all that away in some dusty, forgotten archive, regulators are now actively feeding this data into digital platforms. This lets them identify risks super early, significantly improve their regulatory decision-making, and trigger really targeted interventions to protect the public.
And it's fascinating to look at how rapidly this modernization has accelerated. Back in 2022, authorities integrated risk-based inspections into their digital platforms. This allowed them to profile manufacturing facilities and clinical trial sites for true intelligence-led surveillance. Fast forward to the present day, and the Global Clinical Trials Division is completely digitized. And the massive milestone on the horizon, within the next 18 months, we are going to see the rollout of Phase 1 of the highly anticipated Digital Drug Regulatory Portal.
Section 3. The Unified Digital Future.
So this new Digital Drug Regulatory Portal is basically a complete reimagining of a drug's journey, from a concept in the laboratory all the way to the pharmacy shelf.
Under the old framework, state regulatory systems and central regulatory systems were completely siloed off from each other. That caused massive amounts of redundant paperwork and unpredictable delays. The new system, it tears down that wall completely. It's a fully interoperable platform that is specifically designed to bridge the gap and seamlessly connect every single stakeholder, state, central, and corporate, in real time.
Let's trace how a drug will actually move through this new unified portal. Step 1 is application filings. This is where absolutely everything is submitted electronically into one centralized hub. No more scattered paperwork. Step 2 is evaluations and approvals. Regulators have instant access to all the data they need right there, allowing them to make swift, highly informed decisions. And it doesn't just stop once the drug is approved. Step 3 is post-marketing surveillance. The platform manages the ongoing real-time monitoring of the drug's safety out in the real world. It really is a comprehensive end-to-end structural upgrade.
Section 4. Aligning with global standards. This massive digital overhaul is especially crucial for those advanced regenerative medicines we were talking about earlier. To guarantee global alignment, Indian authorities aren't just working in a vacuum here. They are actively joining forces with some serious global heavyweights. We're talking collaborations with the US FDA, the UK's MHRA, and Japan's PMDA. By sharing data and harmonizing their practices, India is ensuring that its own digital regulatory capabilities actually meet the strictest international benchmarks.
Dr. Vasala actually summed up the sheer ambition behind this massive project perfectly at the conclave. She stated, and I quote, "Further, we are also revising the existing development and manufacturing guidelines to integrate advanced testing methodologies and align regulatory processes with global best practices. That is just a powerful commitment to continuous improvement. They aren't just taking old, outdated rules and digitizing them. They are literally rewriting the rulebook to accommodate modern science, advanced testing, and true global integration."
Which really leaves us with this final thought to consider today. We've seen how digitalization and smart deregulation are tearing down those old silos and replacing them with these incredibly efficient, interoperable, data-driven platforms. We've seen the sheer momentum of cell and gene therapy applications being safely fast-tracked. So, as global regulators increasingly join forces digitally, sharing data and streamlining approvals across borders, how fast will the medical breakthroughs of tomorrow reach your local pharmacy? The future of medicine isn't just about the science happening in the lab anymore. It's about the digital revolution happening at the regulatory desk. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep questioning how the systems around us are evolving.